Good morning. Thank you so much for coming. My name is James Osborne. I'm with Alliance Behavioral Healthcare. I'm the director of our community engagement and outreach, and we are thrilled that you're here this morning. Masters of Arts, Masters of Education, and a lot of other additional certifications are there. She's a teacher, yoga therapist, certified counselor, writer, artist that has been teaching and choreographing and designing wellness programs internationally for over 35 years.
Thank you all for inviting me to share some of my experiences from my brains. And I say brains because that's how I've come to understand the resources of intelligence that support my ever-shifting internal environment and being. So I'll get down to the facts. On October 11th, 2011, I was driving rather carefully through an intersection in Cameron Village in Raleigh. Rather carefully, I say, because I had a strong premonition that morning that warned me that I would experience a life-changing event on this day. At noon, a texting driver ran her red light and totaled my car in what is described as a T-bone type event. My brain was shaken in my skull from windshield to driver's side window several times, I believe, not knowing for sure as I was unconscious upon impact. My memory and knowing comes from some kind of out-of-body perspective where there's a memory of being a bit agitated about the sound of the impact and a disorientation about what and why this was happening, as if I was watching the accident happen from outside my body. I was awakened by a security person tapping on the window of my car. She asked if I could hear and then gave me assurance that everything would be all right. And then I was taken on a stretcher by a crew of gum-chewing young people, more interested in their party the night before than the pain of my head rolling on the stretcher from side to side as the van turned corners. I think we need to work with the ER people a little bit. CAT scans and routine tests were administered at the ER, and I was discharged with a diagnosis of light concussion and put on pain meds. I went to bed for several days. The room was spinning, and there was no memory of where I was, what my life was supposed to be. The physical nature of movement was hazy and fragmented as I watched myself move limbs, try to remember what a bathroom was and where it was, urinating, toilet paper. Totally bizarre. It was as if I was having a hard time being in my body. The activity of fielding incessant calls of the other driver's lawyer was so alarming that I had to turn off all my devices. I felt assaulted by everything, sound, light, communication, by myself in my cocoon, trying to figure out reality. I wanted to feel my body in an accurate sense of time and space, connected to the ground and others. The pain in my head helped me to sense something as me. Otherwise, everything was reflexive memory, like a cloud between me and any emotional or intellectual understanding of relationship that would create a sense of identity, how I was used to knowing myself. I knew that sensing through my body in time and space created a touchstone through which relationship could be grounded. This primal, innate wisdom discouraged my taking any kind of medication, which eventually caused me to lose my legal battle because I was refusing doctor's orders, as I feared that I would miss out on any crucial information that would define what should happen next, what was happening now, as there was only space like a sucking big wind. And there was constant sensation in my head, which was terrifying. I didn't know if I had a brain tumor. I didn't know what was happening. This has gone on as a constant state of being as my friends and others have felt alienated and estranged by my inability to remember names, past conversations, and interactions. Anyway, My TBI case was somewhat resolved last year. Some of the medical bills were paid after a melange of 4 years of tests by top neurologists, psychologists, and somatic experts and chiropractors. I only have a couple more $1,000 to pay out of pocket. I am a different me. All of my relationships are different. My 12-year partnership dissolved in frustration due to a lack of ability to find connection. Finding a sense of alignment in my body-brain is a constant practice. Brain to heart, to endocrine, to skeleton, to others. I am fortunate enough to be surrounded by friends in the healthcare profession and community that supports my having the resources to pay for assistance with writing checks, remembering contractual agreements, conversations, names of clients whom I have seen for years or days, and on some days even helping me with speaking. The left side of my head feels like a metal box that rings in any instance of noise, overcrowdedness, or more than one person talking at a time. There is little comfort so as to relax, as the world is perceived as a potential danger zone where I may receive another yet more critical brain injury, where I might get too jostled from jumping, running, falling, skipping, flying, going too fast for reflexes that have slowed. This is mourned because my whole life is inspired by adventure. I am in a constant re-education process as I check in with and monitor ongoing sensations in my head and brain that range from flashes of light, changing colors, zinging, tight sensations that fly from quadrant to quadrant. A throbbing headache accompanies me with temples that hug each other from right side to left, and a feeling of a bulging left side like an eye in the crow's nest of a ship searching for some light on a shore. In his awesome humility and experience working with infants and mentally challenged children, the wisdom of Tad Wanveer has been the most profound support for my being able to understand how to work with my new levels of brain function. Tad's orientation into the potentiality of a human being and one's infinite, curious mind, with shared insights about the subtle, interconnective functionings of my brain, spine, spinal cord, spinal fluid, neurological structures that had become frayed or damaged, has supported my understanding proactive practices in trying to heal and recalibrate my brain through my body and my mind of knowing. These insights inform, instruct, and inspire me as to how to monitor and name changing sensations and to create a positive language for how my brain can be in the regenerative process of creating over 700 new neurons every day with proper nutrition, movement, metabolic support, and resonant environments whereupon entrainment is healing. For example, attuning to the organized calming structures within classical music, or the full harmonics of singing bowls, like this one, which entrains the fluids of the body to release into a more integrated resonance that supports harmony amongst all the structures of the living body. This may feel like relaxation. Let's try it. This practice has supported so much healing in my brain and its relationship to the rest of me and my world. These harmonic instruments are used in most of my healing sessions as a yoga therapist and mental health counselor for depression, fertility, scoliosis, acute anxiety, complex PTSD, and other forms of trauma. I don't believe that my brain is me. My brain needs connection to the various parts of me in order for me to feel whole. My heart, my enteric situation, my feet, my bones, my hands, touching food, this friend, this door opening, now closing. My personality and perspective have shifted as if some huge door has been thrown open, and as I feel every feeling of every living being with no filter of protection from myself being overstimulated. Overwhelmed, vulnerable, and exposed, my whole body is my brain. And the vastness of this complete range of life and sensing and perceiving and responding is actually accurate and irresistible, totally inspiring and supportive in manageable doses of input. And I believe that this is what is really happening to all of us as living, highly intelligent, sensitive, and interconnected organisms. The information gleaned from the fullness of the intensity of how life is experienced through brain and body creates a rich resource of understanding for my clients, students, and myself. Switching gears, what techniques do I use to help my clients and my students? I've developed a practice called mind-body centering yoga. It is its intention for me, because I came from a lot of crazy and a lot of violence in a military family, is to quell the insanity. I've been mental health oriented since I was a kid. Almost watched brothers and sisters die from the violence, and it wasn't funny. So I have a big passion for doing something about that, especially for children. I've already developed a nonprofit where we're building a school in the Montepeni slums in Africa. These are for children who are otherwise forgotten. So as a certified multicultural mental health counselor and yoga therapist, folks come to me for support with trauma-based affects that look like relationship disorders with food, people, and themselves. Diagnoses can be depression, bipolarity, panic attacks, chronic pain, complex PTSD. My approach is always body-centric, which means there's an awareness is developed of the physical, mental, emotional, and energetic aspects of being alive. The regimen of the intake protocol is having the client share the historical context of their discomfort, what is working in their lives as resources, and then we break down things in order to get specific and clear about what can be done to shift something small into a more positive place. This is very empowering. We then look at this idea, clarifying the difference between the mind and the body-brain, thinking and being, how thinking can affect being, and how being can be cool. There has been a lot of work developed and practiced over the past 40 years from the likes of Diane Heller, Peter Levine, Bessel van der Kolk, affirming my own exploring the real history of a body in order to create a felt experience as reality instead of something made up by the mind. Everyone has a body that can be developed physically, mentally, emotionally, and energetically. That's a resource that's always present. I'd like to share with you now one of the most powerful integrating practices that I make sure to share with all my clients. It's the main teaching of my teacher, social peace activist Thich Nhat Hanh, and its intention is to create solace and a sense of present moment reality through cognition of presence. I use a bell like my teacher so that the human being can attune and come into relationship with themselves through the doorway of their senses. And that would be sound. And then arriving into the breath, which is called the bridge between the mind and the body. This palpable movement from sense to sense is a start, informing one of the value and vitality of one's inner life as real. Please make a note now about what your mind is doing right now. What is the bone that it's chewing on? Is this an incessant habit? Is it positive or negative? Is it calm or stress? Just ask yourself lightly, light touch. The body-brain is highly intelligent and gives us what we want if we're friendly. And then put your condition right now on a scale between 1 and 10. So where are you at as far as your busyness or your negativity or your positivity? Just try to remember that number. And then we're going to do this meditation for about 5 to 10 minutes. It's very simple. So let yourself use your body to ground and just sort of get present. Feel your feet on the ground. You're a symmetrical organism, so try to have your right foot and your left foot on the ground. Feel both your sit bones in your chair. And try to feel your watery brain on top of a spine. So not in front and not back, but just notice as your watery brain balancing easily on your spine. And notice what you hear and what you're thinking again, and receiving the thoughts as if you're watching a puppy play. That's your mind. Oh, there you go again. Come back here and stay. 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 And then find the breath. Arriving into the present moment. The bell being a reminder to be present and come home to the present moment. Breathing in, there's awareness of the in-breath, and breathing out, there's awareness of the out-breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, the breath may be long or short. Breathing out, the breath may be long or short. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, there's awareness of the whole body. Breathing out, there's awareness of the whole body, awareness of the eyes, the mouth, ears, nose, hands, feet, legs, belly, kidneys, lungs, the spine, the brain, the front of the brain, the top of the brain, the back of the brain, the brain stem, the center of the brain. Breathing in gentle kindness to the whole body. Breathing out gentle kindness from the whole body. Please notice how you're doing. Notice where your attention is, inside of you or outside of you. Notice if your number has changed on your scale. And just try to take in this idea that in order to function wholly in a stimulating environment, it is utterly crucial that you are present at least 50% inside of yourself. Most of us are rarely present inside. We're called into the external environment and overstimulated with 90% of our attention outside of ourselves. So try to remember by just taking a few breaths that you can self-reference, and that will help things go much better, much less stressfully. So I'm just curious how people's numbers shifted. Did anybody's number shift? No? Yeah? What did it start at?
It started at 5, went up to 7, and then it went back down to 3.
Oh, cool. Interesting.
Yeah. And usually with me, it's becoming aware of the anxiety that's there in the background. And that first part of it is, it's one of the reasons I don't practice this enough, because I don't want to get to that point where I'm actually aware of the things that are bothering me. But then if you can get past it,
Yeah.
you can feel yourself beginning to let it go.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's an education, right? You've got to have something else to do besides have the anxiety.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
I've been taking Nina's yoga basics class at 5:30 p.m. on Mondays at her studio, Little Breath, downtown. And what I love about Nina's class is that she literally brings a skeleton out and describes, in detail what your body is doing, and so just has a really good understanding of anatomy and physiology, as well, as the mind and consciousness. So I just really wanted to tell you, thank you for teaching me about my body and about my mind. Thank you.
Thank you.